We're going to remove the top cover bolts to remove the top cover. Again, remove the flat brass washer, original for the factory, in with the brass, steel, captive washer, spring washer, in with the steel. Lovely. Okay, same again. And again. This has got a damaged captive washer, so this will need a replacement Weber screw. I'll put it in with the used parts. Here we go. Brass. That's good. That needs undoing. Brass. Screw. Alright chaps, now I know these are good because I've looked at them before, but often this part of the casting is damaged. If people try and put the pin through too much force, wrong technique, I don't know, it snaps off. If this has happened to you and you're thinking, shit, I've damaged it, don't worry, it can be TIG welded back again. We can do that. Okay, so this looks okay, and yep, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently tap this pin because it's protruding a bit, this brass pin, so it comes out that side a little bit, and then I'm going to grab it with some pliers and gently hike it out. So for this you need a small hammer. Okay, keep your thumb on the other side to keep firm pressure on it. And it's flush, like that. And then you want some flat nose pliers. I believe these are called flat nose pliers. You can get a really good grip, firm on the top cover, and hope for the best. Twist and then lightly pull. Okay. Here we go. So gently retrieve the fulcrum pin. Okay, that's brass. I can go in with the brass. Remove the float, and that is not going to get vapor blasted. This is going to get hand cleaned, so that can go in with the used parts, and we'll get back to that later. Top cover gasket comes off, in with the used parts. We're not going to need it again, but we're going to keep it for reference. Be careful you don't do that. Okay, that's the needle valve assembly, and this is a number 10 spanner. Okay, so remove again gently, unscrew the needle valve and seat. Okay, you can put this in with the used parts. You're not going to need it again, but keep it for reference. Bear in mind that there is an aluminium washer. Okay, this should be included in the new service kit with a needle valve, but keep it again just in case. And here we have our number 1 top cover casting ready for marking. I haven't marked it, have I? So I'm going to mark this. I'm just going to mark it there. Lovely. Okay, so that goes in with the aluminium for vapor blasting. Now I want to show you something on the pump jets. I'm going to remove, no, I'm not going to remove the pump jets. What I will do now is I would remove the pump rod assembly, dismantle that, and then I'd remove the main jet and emulsion tube assemblies, idle jets and holders, and then the difficult task of removing the jet cover stud. Hope you can see. So to remove this, maybe a little bit of WD-40 around the edges, and then with a little screwdriver you're going to try and prise it off from both sides, okay? One like that and the other like that. Gently to ease it off, and then you can pull it. So a little touch of WD-40, say a little touch, okay, and then with a little flat screwdriver, gently move it. That's coming out already, that's good, that is. Okay, both sides. You don't want to put any pressure in this, light pressure. There we go. Up she comes. Pump rod, spring retainer, spring, and plunger. Alright, when you put your foot down on the accelerator, the plunger drops and it squirts. It pushes fuel in through the pump circuit channels into the jets, which squirt raw fuel into your engine. So to get rid of this now, you push in and twist. Okay, be very gentle because the rod's quite sensitive. There we go. There you go. That's got basically this. That's a hook which hooks into there, like so, and you can't pull it off, or if you twist it, it comes off, and the spring pressure keeps it in there. So put that in there with your brass. This needs to go with your black phosphate parts. This needs to go in with your brass. Now this, I'm going to mark this again gently with a punch to know that this is for the number 1 carburetor. That will do nicely, and this would be black phosphate coated. Okay, so next I'm going to need a big, thick, fat, wide, flat screwdriver to remove the emulsion tubes. Okay, this is not the right screwdriver. I like the look of a little better. Okay. Nice. One. Center it, and then gentle pressure and weight, and turn like that. And you might have seen these are quite difficult to remove, this particular set. Generally speaking, you can remove them, well, you can sort of remove them by hand, but these were very tough. So this is the emulsion tube holder, and here is the air corrector jet. Alright, that should be a push fit. This is a little bit loose, so I'll slightly prise open the fitting just a little bit, so I can have a bit of a snugger fit. That's the air corrector, which has its size on stamped on the side. Let me put these in with the brass. Main jet. Careful not to score the size, so I can read the size. There we go. that's the main jet, also, which has its size 125. This is, and the emulsion tube, which also has its size stamped F20. I can't read it. So that can go in with the brass. Strip the other one. Holder comes off. Air corrector. This one came off nicely. And main jet, which also came off nicely. All with the brass, and the emulsion tube in with the brass. Idle jet assemblies. So, you little bummer. That's the idle jet, and also its size is stamped on the side. Idle jet holder, and the other one, no. There we go. Now this you can now take off with some heavy grips. Now there is a shank, a thicker shank on it, so you want to get your grips about 2 mil off the seat if you can. Grip it tight, and then you'll be able to turn this 360 degrees, so you don't have to keep clamping it. As it happens, this one is loose, so I can take it off by hand, although these are generally quite difficult to remove. And that's the idle jet, sorry, that's the jet cover stud. Short thread goes into the carburetor, and a long thread goes into the jet cover, or the jet cover screws into it. That goes in with the steel parts. Splash guard, you can hoik that out, lever it out. Bear in mind that this does have well, what you call those lugs. Try and locate this back in exactly the way it came in, and just gently tap it into place so it sits flush as it's supposed to in its recess. Alright, and that just can have a light clean. Next up is the pump weight assemblies. Screwdriver. I've got too many tools here, I need to tidy up. I'm going to tidy up just quickly. So, screwdriver for the pump weight assemblies. Okay, that's the plug in with the brass. Now you got to turn the carburetor upside down, coop your hand, because you're going to get a little ball bearing coming out and a weight. There it is. Alright, so the ball bearing is right at the bottom, then the pump weight goes in next, and then you put the screw on. That goes in with the brass, and the ball bearing goes in with the used parts, because we're going to reuse that. And that's not the right screwdriver. That one will do nicely. These are easy again. I think they've been removed recently, so okay. So that's the two pump weight assemblies removed. Next is the starter jets. Now these are sensitive, and you will need a very, very good screwdriver fit for these. Now these are easy because I know they've come off before, but if the carbs haven't been worked on for years, you might find these very difficult. So you have to put in a lot of weight, and yeah, a lot of weight. It's a very good screwdriver fit. Those are the starter jets coming off now. Okay, because they're brass, they're not as strong as steel. If you do ever break one in situ and you have to machine it out, take one of these, a good one, with you to the machine shop so they can see where they need to drill and how far they need to drill. It will help them remove it successfully. So that's brass, goes in with the brass. Next are the cold start piston retainers, and this is another one that you have to be careful with because it can spring out and you can lose parts. Okay, this is a bit, yeah, you see that, it's a bit temperamental, this is. Come on, mate. Oh, there we go, you see that? Lucky it fell into the carburettor. So this is the retaining washer, the spring, which doesn't look in very good nick, and that is the spring retainer. Okay, so the spring goes in first, then the retainer, keeping this, some of them vary, the shapes vary, then the retainer goes down, and then the brass spring type washer that clips in and secures it in place. This is going to need replacing. This is going in with the brass, that can go in with the brass, and let's do the other one. There we go. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. Brass ring, retainer, spring, and now remove the piston, the brass pistons. One, can you see it goes in like that? Okay, these can be difficult as well, guys. Okay. A little bit of WD-40 to help slip it out. Come on, mate. Bloody hell. Wonder if I can rotate it a bit. Can I rotate it? Oof. Bloody hell. Hang on a minute. It's got a little round file. I'm just going to give this a little tiny chamfer to help that valve come out. Let's have a look at that. Ah. I'm twisting it a bit. There we go. That's going to need a bit of easing because that shouldn't be like that. Anyway, it's out now. So that is the cold start assembly. I'm going to take the idle mixture screws off now. Okay. These have, they've got rubber O-ring at the bottom, a captive washer. I say captive washer, it's a cupped washer that keeps the O-ring in place, and then you've got the spring and the idle mixture screw. Alright, these can go in the zinc plating parts, although they will although they will get zinc plated, they will also be replaced with new items. That can go for zinc plating, and the O-ring can go in the used parts. Same with the next one. Okay. There we go. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the throttle return spring plate off. Okay, get a little screwdriver, sink it under the hook, and if you can, remove the anchoring plate and then let go of the spring gently. That's the anchoring plate, so the hook goes in and hooks into that, keeps it into place. In with the brass, that can be removed afterwards. Pump exhaust valve. This recirculates unused fuel from the pump circuit. If you're gently accelerating, it comes out through the pump exhaust valve back into the fuel bowl. And I need a shootable screwdriver. This is like a one-way valve. Okay. No washer for this one, just like that. That can be just hand cleaned, so I'm going to put that in with the used parts. Okay. Pump jets. These are a bit difficult actually if they're tough, because it's a very thin slot and you can't fit a big wide screwdriver. You've got to use a thin screwdriver, so you got to be very careful you don't damage these, because they're outside and they don't look very nice when they're damaged. So out comes the pump jet holder with its O-ring. Some of them used to have fibre O-rings in the past, but now all of them are being replaced with these special sort of fuel resistant, heat resistant rubber sort of O-rings. In with the used parts in case we need to see it again. Pump jet holder in with the brass. Oh yeah, now something you need to watch out for here is see, the pump jet has got this tiny little washer. Okay, so that's where the washer fits, and then you'll notice that there is I think it's called a chamfer, the way it's been machined, the pump. So that's the little hole there where the jet gets screwed out. So you need to make sure that when you put the pump jet in, the washer stays in place, and also you need to twist and turn the pump jet to line it up so it only protrudes about 3 or 4 mil from the carburetor, because if you don't do it right, some people might try and force it. So out comes the pump jet with its washer, special washer. Put this in the used parts because you might need it again. Pump jet washer, other side. Gently, gently. Seal goes in the used. Pump jet holder. There we go. You can easily miss that. If it's been there a long time, you might need a blade to lift it. Once you've lifted it, it can come out just like that. Okay, in with the brass. Next are the progression hole cover screws, and these can also be tough. Although these are very, very, very easy. Out come the progression hole screws, and in there you can see the progression holes, of which there are 4. So next are the idle bypass screws, air bypass screws. number 8 spanner, undo the little nut on both sides, like so, and then unscrew them and separate. That's the air bypass screw. And this, I screw that down fully seated and leave it at that, and let the rolling road deal with fine calibration if they want to use the air bypass screws. But I leave them fully seated and advise the customers not to use these unless they really know what they're doing and they really need to use them. So these are steel, in with the steel parts. Okay, those are done. That's idle speed screw, which needs removing. Okay, that basically touches the throttle lever. Touches the throttle lever about there, and when you screw it in, it opens the throttle. Okay, so when you screw it out, the throttle returns. So that's how you adjust your idle speed. Now this one has got, see, a nice little ball end on its throttle lever. Sorry, throttle control screw, and it's gnarled, so you can do it with fingers, although I've never done it with fingers. I always use a screwdriver. Steel parts to be plated. So the front studs have been removed, bottom wheel cover and gasket removed, choke, cold start mechanism removed, pump exhaust removed, all of that's done. So we're left with the spindle, throttle valves, pump cam assembly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove, see that the throttle now is disengaged, the return spring. We took the spring anchor off, so the spring now is free to move up and down, which it is. So now I'm going to, it's not the best rack really, is it? Okay, so get a nice screwdriver, which is not that one. Which is it though? What if it's not that one? I think I'm missing it. No, I'm not. I think it is this one. Let's have a look. If you're unsure, you could give it a little gentle tap. Oh yeah. There we go. Okay. Now these screws can be confused with the throttle valve screws. They are the same screw thread and size. They will work, but they're longer. They're longer than these. So these are for the plate, the rear cover. Okay, these are brass. In with the brass. Next one. Give this little fella a little tap. You can feel the screwdriver moving a bit as it's going in. Okay, there's the second rear cover retaining screw. Now if you've got a hole here, like I have, it's easy to pull this off. If you haven't got a hole, sometimes you have to gently, persist on both screw holes to lift the cover off. But with a hole there, it's a piece of cake. This is steel, gets zinc plated, in with the used parts, the gasket. And here, we're going to get a puncher again, alright? And what we're going to try and do, all we have to do, is to push the pump cam locking pin, push it down all the way and through the other side to release the pump cam so it can slide freely in the on the shaft. So this can be difficult, chaps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap it gently so it starts moving, but only gently because I don't want to distort the top a lot. I'm going to tap it gently so it goes flush with the surface of the pump cam, and then I'm going to use my puncher, okay, to push it through. So I'm going to use, got this old distributor shaft, steel shaft, which I am going to use to push that little pin down.